By now, I have probably watched hundreds of films in the theater with varying degrees of quality, and out of all of them, there are only two that I have physically gone to see more than once. The first was Rio. Now look, I already know what you're thinking. Aw, I'm so jealous. This guy actually saw Rio twice? But I'm not exactly sure if this counts, because while I already had seen it once with my own family, there just so happened to be a field trip coinciding with its release, where the entire class, no joke, went to the movies just to see Rio. And while I did sign the permission slip, this was not my idea. If I had any means of personal transportation to the cinema located just a few miles away from my house, I would not have seen Rio again. 11 years later, I find myself in a similar predicament, but that is because Everything Everywhere All at Once truly deserved a rewatch on the big screen. Now, why is that? Well, I'll start by saying that this film is absolutely ridiculous in the best possible way. It is the first in quite some time to really leave a lasting impact on the viewer without feeling too pretentious or complicated. There are so many moving parts working in tandem with one another to create a truly unique visual spectacle. The story starts off very simple. It's initially about an immigrant family who are about to have their business audited. Within the first 10 minutes, you're shown this captivating dynamic between all of them, and boom, right from the get-go, you are a fly on the wall, intimately following their every struggle. You feel for them. As soon as you're getting comfortable, however, the tone sporadically shifts into an unorthodox hero's journey involving infinite multiverses. Now, that's been done, but what separates this from those of its ilk is how the characters exploit these alternate versions of themselves. It's not as streamlined as Spider-Verse, where the characters end up meeting their alternate selves and develop relationships. Instead, this is sacrificed for the sake of rapid-fire humor and creative fight scenes. When taking all of this in, you realize that this is a very ambitious, risky concept that could fall flat on its face if done poorly. But miraculously, it never does. You gotta understand that I had the lowest possible expectations for this movie. If you've seen any of the promotional material, you'll know that it makes the film look, well, really fucking annoying. When you see a shot like this without any prior context, it is a complete visual turnoff in my opinion. One that has the potential to drive the general public away from your film. Had I not known any more information about it, I would have written this off entirely. But then, these rave reviews start coming in, and I become intrigued. I start researching and realize that these are actually the same people behind Swiss Army Man, a very polarizing film that I happened to see the year it came out and kind of enjoyed. In retrospect, it felt kind of limited, like the premise itself was built off of one single joke that eventually proved to be expendable. Conversely, this feels like there are 1,000 more jokes, and all of them manage to land, thanks to its clever satirization of the multiverse concept. The two basically go hand in hand because there are infinite possibilities and scenarios for the characters to wind up in. For something filmed on such a small budget, it looks fantastic. The array of different styles captured on screen cements the Daniels duo as a jack of all trades when it comes to what they can accomplish visually. The cast is a perfect ensemble. Everyone gets their moment to shine, but I think the real standout is Kehui Kwan as the husband. This guy doesn't act in a major blockbuster for nearly 4 decades, and I swear it's like he's been preparing for this role the entire time. Because not only is he playing one character, but all of the alternate versions of that same character. And he is going above and beyond to do each one of them justice. It's a comeback that's really rare to see in any art form, not just cinema. Now, for all of the nice things I have to say about this, I gotta be realistic when it comes to recommending it, because if there's one thing it's also very good at, it is being incredibly overwhelming. Pardon my French, but this is a bit of a mindfuck film, one that kind of juggles a lot of themes, namely the ongoing generational divide, learning to love yourself, but the sheer amount of things going on could vastly affect your enjoyment, depending on who you are. Both viewing experiences have taught me that some people have their limits. The first one was like a jamboree. Everyone was erupting with laughter at various points, and it never felt confined like some studio went, okay, this is where the audience has to laugh. It brought so many different people together for that very reason. The second viewing, in comparison, was completely barren. Same amount of people as last time, a couple chuckles here and there, but I was lucky to be familiar with the source material, because I would have been the only one roaring with laughter, aside from another dude behind me. It was like I had been transported to another universe, where people didn't breathe. Trust me when I say that this film will make you laugh harder than you've laughed in a long time. But if there's one thing that makes or breaks that for you, it is the absurdist humor. Again, it's ridiculous, but it is deceptively ridiculous. There's a lot of care put into getting a laugh, which is what every comedy should strive to achieve. A common critique is that this is random for randomness sake, and while there are objective qualities that can support this point, the jokes drive the story forward. The characters react naturally to whatever's happening. The flow is not interrupted a single time. And to undercut all of that effort, just to compare the experience to a Funko Pop. Well, I don't know how that feels, honestly, but in my opinion, it is a shallow critique of a wonderful film. I'm giving this shit a 9 out of 10, and I do not give those out often to begin with, especially to new films. Please make it your life's mission to see this on the big screen while you still can, because you will be grateful that you did.